Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're diving deep into a movie that, well, it kind of blew up the box office back in 2018, Venom.
Ah, yes. Venom, a film that really took this classic Spider-Man villain
Eh,
and flipped the script.
Yeah, from baddie to, what, reluctant anti-hero.
Exactly. It's a fascinating take on a character known for, well, brutality.
Big time. But before we get into all that, let's set the stage. We start with the Life Foundation, big bioengineering corporation, huge ambitions.
Oh, yeah, their ambitions are out of this world, literally. They're out there searching space, looking for, well, they find a comet.
Packed with some pretty freaky passengers.
Symbiotic life forms, talk about high stakes.
No kidding. And of course, things go south pretty quickly.
The film does a brilliant job with contrast, I think. On one hand, you've got the Life Foundation driven by greed, pushing the boundaries of evolution.
And their CEO, Carlton Drake, he's ruthless.
Absolutely. The embodiment of corporate greed.
Then you've got Eddie Brock, our protagonist,
Hmm.
an investigative journalist, driven by a much different set of values, right?
Right. Eddie's all about truth and justice. A classic idealist.
And he pays the price for it. Taking on Drake costs him everything. His job, his reputation, his relationship.
Gone. Just like that. The film doesn't pull any punches. And that's what makes it so gripping.
It's that classic fall from grace story.
Yeah.
And we feel for Eddie, man.
Oh, absolutely. He's flawed, sure. But deep down, he's a good guy.
And then, boom, he gets hit with the mother of all curveballs.
The symbiote. This alien organism enters the picture, and Eddie's life changes forever.
Talk about an unwelcome house guest.
It's a masterclass in suspense and body horror, the way they introduce it, the movement, the voice inside his head.
Chilling stuff.
Oh, it gets under your skin.
Yeah?
You're both terrified and intrigued.
Like being stuck with an alien roommate who's always hungry
Hmm.
and kind of likes violence a little too much.
The film really digs into the psychology of it all. You see Eddie struggling to hold on to himself, fighting these urges, this voice in his head.
But I gotta admit, there's a dark humor to it, too.
Oh, absolutely. The banter between Eddie and Venom, pure gold.
It's like a twisted buddy cop comedy. Keeps things from getting too dark.
Definitely. And it injects a lot of fun into the narrative. Reminds us that even when things are grim, there's room for, well, a little dark humor.
And speaking of adding layers to the story, let's not forget Dora Skirth. She's a scientist working at the Life Foundation, and she's got a conscience.
Right. She sees what's happening and she's torn. Loyalty to her work versus her own morals.
She's the one who reaches out to Eddie. Big risk.
Huge risk, but it speaks volumes about the ethical questions the film raises. How far is too far in the name of science?
Right. That's the theme that keeps coming back. We see what happens when ambition goes unchecked.
Like with Drake, he's willing to sacrifice anything, anyone to reach his goals.
And thanks to Skirth, Eddie gets into the Life Foundation lab. And that's where he comes face to face with, well, destiny.
The symbiote.
Talk about a meet cute.
That bonding scene, Intense doesn't even begin to cover it.
Seriously. It's like you can feel the symbiote taking over,
Mm.
warping him, pushing him to the edge.
Visually, it's stunning, but it also goes deeper. The symbiote has its own motivations, its own agenda.
It's not just alongs for the ride, huh?
Not at all. It sees humans as a potential food source.
Yeah, that's not going to end well. But there's something else there too, right?
Yeah, there's a hint of curiosity, almost a grudging respect for Eddie's tenacity.
Sets the stage for one heck of a power struggle. Who's going to be in control?
That's the big question. And that's what we'll dive into next time. The battle for Eddie's soul, the blurred lines between hero and villain, and the possibility of redemption in the most unlikely of places. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about Eddie and Venom meeting for the first time. Now let's jump into their, shall we say, complicated relationship.
Complicated is putting it mildly. It's a total mess, but a fun mess.
Yeah, it's like a buddy cop movie, right? Except your partner is an alien that wants to eat people's brains. Typical Tuesday.
Exactly. And that push and pull, that's what makes the movie work.
Yeah.
Eddie's terrified of Venom's power and those
Oh,
urges.
yeah, the urges are bad.
But he kind of likes the strength, too. The confidence. Being in control.
Oh, for sure. I mean, who wouldn't? But it's a constant internal battle for Eddie, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Tom Hardy, I mean, give the man an Oscar. He nails it. That internal struggle, you can see it all over his face.
You can. The fear, the confusion. It's a very physical performance, but it's the subtle stuff that really gets you.
And we can't forget the voice, right? Venom's voice.
Oh, man, that voice.
Deep, guttural, creepy, and also kind of funny.
It's Tom Hardy again. Doing the voice himself adds a whole other layer to the character.
It's unnerving, but then he cracks a joke, you're like, okay, maybe this thing isn't so bad.
The filmmakers walked a tightrope with Venom. He's scary, yeah, but you kind of like him too.
You root for him, even though he does some messed up stuff. And visually, wow.
The CGI is really well done. It could have been a disaster, all those tendrils and teeth.
But they found a balance. He's terrifying, but beautiful in a weird way.
Exactly. A perfect blend of power and vulnerability.
And the action sequences. Forget about it. So much fun. Venom just tears through everything.
He's so fast, so agile, like nothing we've seen before in a superhero movie.
That motorcycle chase through San Francisco, amazing.
Pure adrenaline, the way he takes down enemies, brutal, but kinda awesome.
But it's not all action, right? There's some genuinely emotional moments, too.
Oh, absolutely. Venom isn't just a mindless monster. He starts to understand humans, their good and bad sides.
He learns. He grows. He starts to question his own instincts.
Right. He sees acts of kindness, acts of cruelty. It makes him think.
There's that scene where he and Eddie are on a rooftop talking about their feelings. It's actually kind of heartwarming. You see a real bond forming.
It is. And it sets up his decision to protect Earth. He's not just doing it to survive anymore. It's something more.
He's found a cause, something he believes in.
And then we get the big showdown, right? Venom versus Riot.
Another symbiote, this time bonded with Carlton Drake.
So we've got good symbiote versus bad symbiote, and it is epic.
Oh, yeah. The filmmakers went all out with the special effects. It's a visual feast.
Total chaos, but also a sense of tragedy. You see how destructive these creatures can be.
It's a reminder that power, even if you use it for good, has a dark side.
And it makes you wonder about Eddie's future, right?
Yeah.
Can he control Venom, or will it all end in disaster?
Yeah. The movie ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. Leaves you with a lot of questions.
Oh, and don't forget the mid-credits scene. Cletus Kasady. Carnage is coming.
Talk about a tease. They're definitely setting up a sequel. So we've talked about the story, the characters, all the crazy action, but what about the bigger picture? What's Venom really trying to say?
Well, one thing that jumps out is this whole idea of duality. Eddie and Venom, two sides of the same coin, always fighting for control.
Right, like who's the real monster here?
Exactly. It's a physical battle, obviously, but it's also psychological. They're both wrestling with their inner demons.
And it's not just them, right? Other characters have that duality too, like Drake. He's got this brilliant mind, but he's so power-hungry.
He represents that dark side of ambition, that the ends justify the means mentality.
And even Anne's got that push and pull. She loves Eddie, but she's terrified of what he's becoming.
It's like the film is saying everyone has that darkness inside them. It's all about how you choose to deal with it.
Which brings us to another big scene. Heroism. Eddie Brock. He's not your typical superhero.
Not even close. He's kind of a jerk, actually.
Selfish, impulsive, makes bad decisions.
But he's got a good heart deep down. He wants to do the right thing.
And Venom. He's an alien parasite that eats people.
Yeah, not exactly a shining beacon of morality.
But he has his moments, right?
He does. He saves people. He makes sacrifices.
So what does that make him? A hero.
Mm-hmm.
An anti-hero. Something else entirely.
That's the question the film wants you to ask. It challenges those traditional ideas of good and evil.
It's more complex than that. And that's what makes it interesting.
And let's not forget the humor. It would be a very different film without those funny moments.
Oh, yeah. Eddie and Venom's banter is gold.
It keeps things from getting too heavy. You need those moments of levity.
It's like, even in the middle of all this chaos and destruction, they can still crack a joke.
And visually, the film is a treat. Those special effects are top-notch.
Yeah, Venom looks incredible.
Yeah.
Scary, but cool at the same time.
And those action sequences are so creative. The way he moves, the way he fights, it's unlike anything you've seen before.
The director, Ruben Fleischer, he knows how to blend action, comedy, and horror.
He did Zombieland, so he's got experience with that. And it gives the film a unique tone.
It's not your typical superhero movie. It's got a darker edge, but it's still fun.
It's a balancing act, and he pulls it off really well.
So overall, Venom, is it a perfect film? No. But is it entertaining? Absolutely.
It's a wild ride, a lot of fun, and it makes you think, too.
It leaves you with questions about identity, morality, the nature of heroism, and it leaves you wanting more. That mid-credits scene, brilliant.
Oh, yeah, Carnage is coming. Can't wait to see what they do with that.
We'll have to do another deep dive when that movie comes out.
Definitely. But for now, we'd love to hear your thoughts on Venom. Did you like it? Hate it? Head over to the comments and let us know.
And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite films. We'll see you next time.